Hi, everyone.
Hello.
How's it going? It's Mark
and Aaron
from Art 4. Happy Wednesday to you. Yes, June
What's
10th.
going on? What's going
Hello,
on?
people from near and far. Yes, you'll notice a few things that are different from our surroundings today. First, we have this beautiful backdrop behind us.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Some
Check it out.
uplighting.
Our logo is like right between our heads.
Yeah.
I'm pointing at the screen. But oops,
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yay. Yes. Yummy. So there's that. That's because we're not in the comfort of our living room today.
No.
We're in the comfort of someplace else.
Yes. Yes, do we tell them that?
Oh, yeah.
For those of you that are watching, this is going to be where we're live streaming the Cyber Sizzle.
Whoa, what's the Cyber Sizzle?
Yeah, it's June 14th. That's this Sunday.
Whoa. Really?
Make sure you come online.
Come online, everyone. Sunday, June 14th. 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 5 to 7 Central. We're going to be doing a mixture of live and pre-recorded performances. We're going to have some musical theater trivia. You can also order some food from Render Kitchen and Bar and Fat Cap.
Yes.
Tell them all about that.
That was just announced today.
Woo!
So check out our Facebook event, Cyber Sizzle. If you didn't get an email, but if you're on our email list, you got an email today about it. But yes, Fat Cap is offering some menu items as well as Render. Those are pre-order items, so we need you to submit that order form before Friday. That's in a couple days, this Friday.
Yeah, it's coming up.
By 3 p.m. Eastern Time. You can get that order form from our website as well. So art4sb.org/food. F-O-O-D.
We made it easy. We made it easy. It's that thing you do about 3 times a day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then also, if you're having any trouble finding it, just go to Art4's website, go to the Cyber Sizzle, and then on that page is a big button that says, I want to order food. And you just click it.
Nice. Oh my gosh. That sounds so easy.
Also, I don't want to forget to mention, because I say it all the time, is the digital party pack.
Whoa.
Don't forget, you got to sign up for the digital party pack. What's in the digital party pack, you ask? Let me tell you. So there is a schedule, so you can see all the cool things that we're doing.
Who doesn't like that?
During the Cyber Sizzle. There is also signature cocktail recipes.
Ooh.
So I'll even leak this out, too, for those watching.
Uh-oh.
You can learn how to make the Broadway Boulevard.
Ooh, tell me more.
The Summer Lovin'.
Oh.
Or the Garden Rose.
Oh.
Yes,
Yeah.
those are drinks. Now, if you sign up for the digital party pack, you are also going to get a virtual raffle number. So that will be a unique raffle number that's only to everyone who signs up. So you have an opportunity to win super cool prizes during the event. We also are going to play musical bingo.
Ooh, musical bingo.
You can't get your musical theater bingo card unless you sign up for the digital party pack.
Okay. Now, how much does the digital party pack cost, Aaron?
It's free.
What?
Can you believe that? Absolutely free.
That blows my mind.
So that form is also on Art4's website, art4sb.org/cybersizzle. And we need your name and your email. There is also a link to that form on the Facebook event for the Cyber Sizzle as well. So make sure, digital party pack.
Yes, get it.
Sign up for that.
That's right. Now, some other exciting things that are happening in Art4's world is that we have our Wake Up Wednesdays. And our second episode of that happened today. You could have caught it. And we had a special guest, Aaron Dietz, who did our Wake Up Wednesday for us today. Thank you so much to Aaron Dietz. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, and Grace is already on there. She has filled out her food order, and that's true. I saw it. She was the first one to complete a food order.
Yes.
So make sure if you want to get some takeout, carry out from Render and Fat Cap, Friday, 3 p.m. It's the cutoff. Fill out the form.
Yes, sir.
I'll also tell you, The pickup location for that will all be at Fat Cat. So even if you order stuff off the render menu, they're going to have it at Fat Cat. So you only go to one pickup location, and they'll use the drive-through window at Fat Cat. You can pay when you pick up, so you don't need to make payment when you submit the order. We just need to know the order by 3 p.m. on Friday. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Joe B. Russo's getting the brisket. Love it.
Yes. Delicious.
Hi, Kara. Kara's in
Kara.
Texas.
Hello from Texas. Well, hello to you in Texas. I'm in South Bend, Indiana. Now, we're here today for Intermission Interview, which is part of our Show Tune Sunday series. We speak with the artists that we're working with this week. And this week, we are delighted to be working with Larissa LaShore. Now, it's a special week. Usually at the end of our Show Tune Sunday week, any funds that are raised, we split 50-50 between Art4 and the artist that we're working with. But because Larissa is such a gem of a person and somebody who is extremely generous, she has teamed up with us so that we can donate 100% of this week's proceeds to Black Lives Matter South Bend. In addition to that, Art4 is matching the first $250 that is raised, and we already hit that goal, which is really awesome.
Yes!
Which means that we're past a $500 marking point that we will be donating to Black Lives Matter South Bend. So help us push a little further. It would be nice if we can get to about $1,000 for them. That would be amazing. So if you're listening to this, please be sure to donate. You can click the donate button on either of Larissa's videos that went out this week, which are gorgeous. She did a phenomenal job. Or you can also go to art4sb.org/ShowTunesSunday.
Oh, very good on the diction.
Thank you very much. I warmed up today.
We also have Venmo as well. We're tracking those donations this week through Venmo at Art4SB is our Venmo name if you want to donate that way as well.
Nice.
So many ways to give.
Yeah, but enough about us. Let's bring in our special guest. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Are we ready?
Yes. Welcome to the studio, Larissa LaShore.
Hi, guys.
Yay! Woo! Hello. Hello, my friend.
Fellas.
So good to see
It
you.
is so good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for Show Tune Sundays. Like it's a beautiful thing that you've been doing for the artists in this community. And now that you're just doing for the community as a whole, I am utterly obsessed with you.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, you're speechless. You made Mark speechless.
We're happy to do the work, you know. We only get better when we support each other, we work as one, and we wouldn't be able to do such cool stuff without artists like you. Truly. So right back at you. Let's talk a little bit about you for those in the community who don't know who you are. I think you're a superstar. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Larissa LaShore, actor, director, innkeeper. I am, proud to live here in South Bend, Indiana. My family is here. I love the arts in this community. I have been blessed to work with several of the artist groups and theaters here in town, as well as around town in Michigan, and have ventured off into other places. I spent a little bit of time out in New York, and that was a magnificent experience, and getting to do some theater out there too. And here I am home. It's always wonderful to be home. You guys might not know my parents, but I do, and they're awesome. And yeah, Miss Sheila. Everybody knows Miss Sheila. She's the jam. But I come from a very musical family. They're all there, and they're drama also, but they're also very artistic.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, all of those things. Yeah, I said what I said.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's take a deeper dive and tell us about your first theater experience, or how you got involved in theater, or what was the hook to bring you in.
Yeah.
Well, there are legends that say that from my birth I kind of like fell out of the womb with jazz hands and drama. There were lights. The doctor said I was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen in his entire life, and the rest is history. Um, but I spent a lot of time growing up in church, and so music is sort of where I started. I found a love for theater as I got older. It was not something necessarily available to me. It was something I created when I went places. So I went to a really small Christian high school. They didn't have theater there, so I started the drama club there.
Well,
Same thing when I got to college. It's just, like you as much as your gifts make room for you, you have to make room for your gifts. And
yes.
so having
Amen.
that experience and the ability to do that was great. And then when my actual like kind of debut here in this city, 15 years ago at South Bend Civic Theater, I played Beneatha in A Raisin in the Sun. Miss Sheila actually played my mother. My real life mother played my mother on stage.
How
Wow.
amazing.
So that was extremely reinforcing. It was
Yeah.
wonderful. Um, Everybody who was involved in that are people who were still incredibly near and dear to my heart as well. And that was just kind of the beginning of learning what a community and a family you can make in theater. And and yeah, I've just been kind of killing it ever since.
Yes, you have.
Um, yeah, I think that's something that we can definitely say for our industry, and then for the industry specifically here in South Bend, is that there's a good support system between everybody, and I think that everybody's kind of there to lift each other up. Not saying that there's no room for improvement. Of course there
Sure,
is.
sure.
But I think everybody is out there to help and support each other in our theater world. Um, let's jump to talking about Show Tune Sunday, because this week we're working with a community partner, Black Lives Matter South Bend. So tell everybody a little bit about your process. How did you pick your songs? The recording of the video. How did you even the conversation about teaming up with Black Lives Matter? How did all of this kind of come to fruition in your life?
Sure. Sure. This is honestly, it came to fruition because it was necessary. I think that it's absolutely beautiful that you guys picked up the call to this very necessary time. My people are hurting right now. Uh, as far as the music that I chose, Godspell has just kind of been my heart song through this whole thing. It is the revival is a beautiful thing. The original was a beautiful thing to me. It was fun and it was campy and I adored it. And then when the 2011 revival hit my soul in a way that I was not expecting. Beautiful City is a song that I just it resonates with me. Before any of this happened, it's like even in the midst of us being locked down in our homes where we don't get to see each other, where we don't get to see our family members, where there's a lot of weird division about whether or not we should even be locked down, saving our lives and other people's lives in the midst of this global pandemic. um it's and what's it going to look like on the other side of it? Like what does normal isn't a thing anymore. Like whatever we come out on the other side of this is not going to be what we had before that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. And if we can go into it with with hope, um then we can build something just beautiful on the other side of it too. And so that song very much resonated with me. The being given the opportunity to sing it means so much to me. And I know that a part of it, because it's a song that is sang by Jesus in Godspell. And then of course the song from Cole House Walker and Ragtime is Make Them Hear You. So those being extremely male roles that nobody's necessarily being like, hey, Risa, you want to play Cole House? Now that being said, like I'll gender bend the hell out of a role. We know this. My Falstaff is amazing. And
oh my gosh, yes, I have seen your Falstaff, and it is a good Falstaff.
But having the ability to give a voice to music and songs that are so relevant right now, both because of the protests and the necessary unrest that is happening in this country,
Yeah.
and the restlessness that is happening in this country because we have been stuck indoors for so long.
Sure.
So honestly, it all came about. Mark called me. My mother and I had just gone and voted. Go vote. And after that, Mark called me talking about this opportunity. And I was like, let's do Beautiful City. And then I'm sitting across from my mother and I'm like, what other song do I do? I'm like, I want to do something that is both relevant for right now, but also something that I can smash. Like those are like two very important criterias for a Show Tune Sunday, right?
Smashability is important.
Smashability, like optimum smashability.
Yes.
And so I'm going over shows that I've done and I'm like, what, and I played Sophia in The Color Purple. So Hell No actually came to my mind as one of the songs that I could do.
Yes.
You're right. That's a bop. Like
really good.
That's a bop, and also a little relevant. Like I think we're all kind of on some Hell No right now. But then I said, "Make Them Hear You," and I looked at my mother, and tears just started welling up in her eyes, and she said, "You have to sing that one. You have to sing that song." And so here I am. I appreciate being able to. The process of shooting the video was absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of my city right now. Being over at the county city building and over at the courthouse and seeing these beautiful colors of the names of people who have suffered injustice at the hands of the people who are supposed to serve and protect us was so moving. I know there was a blooper reel of me ugly crying. I was just absolutely and utterly moved by this city's response to this nation's hurt right now. I'm so proud.
Yeah.
It just being able to do that and to see a beautiful city and then to be able to sing about the beautiful city that we get to build. And yes, we can. And it's been a wonderful process, which I am utterly grateful for. I'm so grateful to you for this. Yeah.
This has been a good week of working together. We've appreciated having that partnership and to show some support. We want to talk a little bit more about community and the response that our community had and the way of moving forward and building a beautiful city like we're talking about. And we have somebody very special with us right now, Dr. Day Bryant, and we're going to bring her into the studio right now. Hi, Dr. Day. How are you? We have muted. There you are.
Sorry, I had you on mute. I apologize.
I was muted. Hello, everyone. Hello, Larissa. Good to see you again. Larissa and I were able to share a stage, not like I was acting and she was acting, but we were all in the same production of Gem of the Ocean in February of this year. So it's great to see you again, my friend.
You too. I was telling them backstage a little bit about the about the Zoom meeting that we all then got to have about the Black experience,
Yes.
and the Black spirit. And I
Yes.
said it was both relevant and prescient at the time, that conversation. And so
It
I'm
really
really,
was.
yeah, really just beautiful. So no, it's
Well,
always
thank
wonderful
you for
to see
coming.
you.
Thank you for spending time with us on that call as well.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
So how can I help you gentlemen?
Thank you so much. Well, yes, thank you. We appreciate you spending the time with us. We want to talk to you a little bit more about Black Lives Matter. And
Okay.
Could you talk to us a little bit about how you're affiliated with the organization, and just tell everybody a little bit more about the mission of Black Lives Matter South Bend?
All right. I'm affiliated with the organization by being a member of it. And Black Lives Matter, the mission is to address issues in life and daily life for people of color, for Black folks in our community. Ours is the South Bend chapter of Black Lives Matter. And South Bend ELM has 7 pillars of justice, and asking how it is we can engage in a proactive way to address things like housing and environmental racism and education, doing programs and initiatives that allow us to speak in terms of practical responses to these biases. We recently did a public forum looking at economics and asking questions about what is happening in terms of economic and development. We also had a session that looked at how it is education is done, how public schools are being funded, what are some of the issues involved, the referendum that we just did here in the city, helping people understand the referendum and its uses, environmental racism, looking at lead and what it is about lead abatement that needs to be done, and how it is we might be able to facilitate that process. And so the 7 pillars all function together to talk about life in its totality for people of color in our community.
Sure, kind of like acting, if I were to put it into analogy in my own words, like folks all working on the same wheel type of a thing, right? Like
Yes.
they're the support. Yeah.
Sure.
That one.
Yeah. So we've seen a lot of initiatives come out in the last week. Can you help us or talk to more about the police compliant board with the subpoena and investigatory power? You had a virtual town hall about 2 months ago on this topic.
Yes. Yes.
Can you share some more details about that for people who might not know what's going on?
I can, yes. The question of policing in communities of color is a perennial question. It's one that we're facing here in South Bend. We saw some of the actions we've undertaken with Chalk the Walk that was at the city county building, asking that people come and express themselves in terms of those relations and dynamics between communities and the harm being done to communities of color. One of the other actions is the citizen complaint board that you've mentioned, and progress on that was taken forward a bit more with a bill that was proposed by Councilman Davis as well as Councilwoman, hang on, I've got her name here, Lori Hellman, and the two of them proposed a bill here to the Common Council. Bill 12-20. Keep an eye on that,
Okay.
because it proposed the citizen oversight board that you're talking about. It is currently being examined so that we can open it up to public input. The concern that Black Lives Matter had was that it's important to have members from those communities that are most affected by these relations between law enforcement and community also be involved in selecting the board or being involved on the board. And the question of subpoena power and how much control and influence such a board could have, rather than just being something in name. All of these are questions that are being addressed, along with the discipline matrix and how it is we could interface, we as an organization, Black Lives Matter, as well as their collaborators with us related to law and enforcement and communities. Citizen review boards are not new, but they do require thoughtful attention and questions being addressed about who's on it, about how long they're on it, how much power they have. All of these are issues that have to be taken care of before anything moves forward further. And so that's what's happening at this point.
What's the, well, two things. One, I just want to let everybody in the room know that we're getting a little feedback on our end. So if we're leaning in at any point in time, or we may ask to go back just a little bit if we miss something.
Okay. Okay, you've got feedback. Okay.
You're doing great, though. I have a question about regarding setting that group of people up and getting that executed. What's kind of the timeline, or is that unknown at this point in time?
Well, at this point in time, unknown might be the best way to think about it in terms of an actual calendar timeline. But action that needs to be taken right now and can be taken right now is for people to become more informed about what citizen review boards do and what types of roles a person could play with it. It's a time of collecting information so that when the call comes for public input, it can be something substantive that allows for, well, the community says these are the things they're looking for, therefore we can advocate that these things be a part of the process. What is less helpful in terms of moving us along that timeline is for a lot of people to come on and say, I like it, I don't like it, but don't give us any input for what are the things that need to be in place. So although the legislation is taking time, it's good time, or time that can be well spent in terms of getting a better understanding of what does subpoena power mean and how does that influence what we want to do, or what I, a citizen of South Bend, would like to see this board be able to do.
That's great. I love that call to action and of making sure that us as a community are aware of some things that we should be doing to make sure that when the process begins to start, we can have a productive conversation of ways to.
Yes, absolutely.
Where's my next thing? Can you tell us about the adoption of the Intercultural Development Inventory, the IDI, that would be administered to all police officers and personnel?
Yes, the Intercultural Development Inventory is a way of looking at how people think about people who don't look like them or sound like them. How do you feel about race, and how do you feel about people who have a different lifestyle or who are different? And the inventory is short enough, it takes about 30 minutes to do. I've taken the IDI, and its questions are precise enough that it's possible to then create a profile for individuals, as well as to give such a profile to an organization to see how they are functioning in terms of being an organization. And along with that, you get some points, some tips if you're an individual taking it, and some suggestions about focus groups, for example, if you're an organization. The power of the IDI is that it gives concrete information about what a person actually, what their perspectives are actually most likely to cause them to do, because that's the issue. Bias, implicit bias, is something. Implicit means I'm not aware of it, and therefore I'm not always confident. Actually, I may be very confident about what I think I'm doing, but it may not be as rooted in the things that I believe it is. And so the IDI allows us to look at that more specifically and then talk about, so what can we do? And it sets a profile out on a scale from denial to adaptation, which allows us to look at each of these different points where a person might fall, at what is the degree of openness they may have to others, to other people and new situations. And it gives us a way of then being able to calibrate things like policy and programs and regulations and all of those things. And so the IDI is a tool that's been proposed as a way to be able to address some of the issues related to training.
You mentioned that you took the IDI yourself.
I did, yes.
Is it something that other people could do, and do you recommend that other people take it?
I would recommend that other people do take it, because it is a way of tapping into those implicit ideas and perspectives that we have, causing us to have to put words on them. Seeing yourself on a profile helps you begin to identify those things that you hadn't even realized you needed to be working on, or hadn't even realized were strengths that you had. And so it's a short inventory, but it has lots of supportive data in terms of its usefulness. And taking it yourself, and as I said, it's relatively short. It's 50 items or so. It takes about 20 minutes to do. And if you therefore then are able to take a look and see if you are functioning the way you thought you were, so that you could start making adjustments, or if there are things you needed to work on.
Yeah, that's really good. So just to recap so far for people who are listening, we have 2 call to action so far. One is the IDI and looking to take that to have a self-reflection and learn more about what your blind spots are. And then the other is reviewing and learning about police complaints boards, so that we know about subpoena powers and know how to move forward when that comes to fruition.
Yes, we beg.
Yeah, and we know that the third initiative that's kind of been stated is the defund police, or hire interventionists instead of more police officers. So can you help explain that initiative?
I can. One of the things that I'm asked frequently is, what happens once you defund police? Well, the thing to keep in mind is that hashtag defund police is a hashtag to talk about all of the complex things that are involved with a healthy community.
Sure.
We're talking education, housing, environmental issues like lead and paint. We're talking making it possible for people to have a living wage. We're talking healthcare. We're talking many things. Therefore, when we say defund police, the objective is to redistribute monies that are in these budgets that are providing military-grade equipment to police forces, and redirect some of that money into being able to address some of these other issues that are about quality of life. Because when people reach the point where they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, it's because there are things that are lacking. Things that are lacking in terms of educating my children, things that are lacking in terms of living in a safe house, or that I'm lacking in terms of being able to pay my bills and at least have a little money left over. All of these things that are lacking, yeah, you know what I mean? When we lack these things, when we lack these things and we do it for a very long time, that's when we begin to see that build up. You've heard it said over and over again at this moment in history. This is a tipping point. None of this is new. None of these messages that are being said in relation to the issues that communities of color are facing are new. We've been talking about them for centuries, and definitely since the civil rights movement. It didn't go away. Now, all of these issues are coming forward. How do you address all of them and put that in a hashtag defund police?
Thank you for that.
That was very helpful.
Yeah. Dr. Day, what does the future of South Bend look like in your eyes, and how long do you feel it might take us to get there?
Well, I'm with Larissa when I say that I have hope here in South Bend. Our South Bend community has responded to the actions of Black Lives Matter enthusiastically. And people have come out and they have stayed out and they have been articulate and they have been involved in ways that give me hope for how we're going to be able to continue to create change here in our area. I am also feeling that we will be diligent as time continues to pass, as the world moves on, and you know it does. It moves on to the next big story and the next thing that we're excited about or outraged about. And but I don't believe the commitment that we have seen from people so far is going to go away. So we're going to be diligent, and we're going to continue to be productive in terms of moving forward these initiatives. And all of that gives me hope, Absolutely. Even if I can't put a calendar date on the timeline.
Yeah, no, for sure. As we continue working, are there upcoming events or ways that we can tell people about today to help move the needle forward and keep progress going?
We do have an event that's coming up this coming week. It's on the 11th, which is tomorrow, of course. It's an intergenerational panel, and it's going to be a discussion with young people, as in high school, just out of high school, people who look to be about your generation, and then people who are about my silver generation. And we're going to have everyone talking. We're going to have everyone talk about what are some of the things that need doing, talk about what does action, quote unquote, look like for you, how can you continue to be involved, and looking at how do we begin to lay out some things that will indeed continue to move the needle. And I'm really excited about that. We're getting participation from Black Lives Matter Global, is sending a person to be a part of our panel. We are partnering with the Civil Rights Heritage Center. So we'll have, it's an online event, and you can find the link on the Black Lives Matter Facebook page.
Oh,
yep, that's it right there.
Now, are there other ways that if somebody wanted to stay connected with Black Lives Matter South Bend that they can do so?
Yes, there is a Facebook page. You see the web address there on your screen, and you can contact Black Lives Matter at either of those addresses.
That's great.
If people want to donate to your organization, how can they do that?
You can also find a button that says donate on the Facebook page and on the website. We got you coming and going.
Outstanding.
Also a good time to remind everyone, if you just joined, all of our Show Tune Sunday proceeds this week are also 100% are going to Black Lives Matter. So if you click on the donate buttons on our Ford's Facebook page, those funds will also be funneled to that organization as well.
Excellent. And we thank you.
Oh, we thank you.
Yes.
Dr. Day, thank you so much for spending time with us this evening and for sharing and for creating a space for us to just ask these questions. We really appreciate it. Is there any remaining thoughts that you'd like to share?
Stay the course with us. Even when it starts to get quiet and you think everything has moved on, stay with us, stay vigilant, keep your eye on the Facebook, keep your eye on the news, watch different types of news so that you can be well informed and be prepared to speak when it needs doing.
Absolutely.
Wonderful message. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too. Everyone, that was Dr. Day Bryant, representative of Black Lives Matter South Bend, joining us for a discussion this evening. Again, we're donating 100% of all proceeds raised this week for our Show Tune Sunday program to Black Lives Matter South Bend. If you'd like to donate, you can click any of the donation buttons on our videos this week, or you can go to art4sb.org/showtunesunday and donate today. We're with our Artist of the Week, Miss Larissa LaShore, talking about Show Tune Sunday and her process of working with us. But before we move on to some additional questions that we have for you, Larissa, did you have any other comments regarding the conversation that we just had? And
no, that was, first of all, I donated most of the time, and I clicked that donate button. I'm just saying, guys, get like me. People are incredibly talented and super generous. I'm just saying. But it was a beautiful. It was lovely to have some explanations about where we are right now and where we're going and where this organization is going, and it just filled me with even more hope. And she's right. It's like this isn't a spirit week. This isn't going to be something that, all right, this happened and now we're going to talk about this. No, like if we find ourselves locked down again, then we're going to make you're going to hear us. Like, that's where we're at now. Make them hear you is where we stand squarely and where we will be moving forward from here. And so it's beautiful to hear all of the ways to be involved also. And it's like, I use my voice as an artist and as an actor and telling stories. I know there are ways that I can be more active as an activist, as a relatively young adult who can use her voice in other arenas that aren't just the stage. And I look forward to doing that too in the future.
Yeah, we a few things that you just mentioned are things that we've talked about at home. One of which is, how do people maintain their vigilance and their energy? Because, like Dr. Day said, this is not a short-term thing. This is something that we're going to have to maintain our stamina. And a friend of mine, ironically, her name is Karen, said at one point in time to me about activism that sometimes it's like passing a baton, and you're in this long race as a team, and sometimes you need to pass the baton and know that you're going to take a break for a little bit just so you can get back in the game later.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, continue to run, but not at the risk of burnout, and know that you need to get back into the game later.
Amen.
Another thing that we talk about is the relationship of the arts and activism, and what is that like? And I always feel that the arts in itself is activism.
Absolutely.
It just is, and that's how I interpret it and the way I feel about it in my heart. And it was cool to really just take on the charge with you this week in Black Lives Matter.
Absolutely. Thank you.
No, I don't think so. Doing great.
Okay. Let's jump back a little bit to some thoughts about you and your life. And you are originally from the area, but you did spend some time in New York. What was that New York process like for you, and what ended up bringing you back?
It was, I guess the best way to describe New York for me was a flash in the pan. I got out there, New York put on a t-shirt that says, "I heart Larissa," and I walked around accordingly. It was an amazing experience. The electricity of that city is insane. I got the opportunity to work with a theater called the Secret Theater in Long Island City. And we did hair. Just talk about activism. It was a beautiful experience. I love my tribe. To this day, they are some people who are very near and dear to my heart. That show is not one that you don't go through and build a deep amount of trust with people. You're literally stripping bare with a group of people, and in your most vulnerable state, which is buck ass naked, you really have to come to like trust people a lot. The conversations that we had it was a beautiful experience. I wish and hope nothing for the best for all my electric mayhem out there. And I was working at a hotel out there, much like I am here, just kind of keeping to the actor, director, innkeeper deal. I came home because like there are two things that you can't have in New York. One's a broken heart, the other's a broke wallet. And I had the latter, and it was time to bring them home. It was time to come back to my parents and my family, where I could be in a community of people again, and specifically be around my family again. So it was absolutely for the best. I have have grown a passion of mine, which is the stage, turned into a ministry of mine, which is giving that stage to the next generation, and a stage to people who don't have one. So I have been here in town working with youth, working with kids, working at St. Matthew's and a small Christian school called South Bend Junior Academy, where I'm doing theater with them and putting on plays. It's giving me the opportunity to write more plays. I've written a series of Christmas plays for this school in South Bend, and they have blessed me by performing and giving a voice to my stories. Working with the kids at St. Matthew's and really taking a love of theater, because it's like everybody can't pay for classes. Like everybody can't be in theater schools and in companies that they have to pay for. And so it's so important in education. It's so important in all education, and especially in Christian education, that these children be given a stage. And it has been my absolute pleasure and ministry to give that to them. And I just kind of hope to continue doing that forever and ever, is giving the stage to the babies. That's my jam now, like, because they're just so great and they deserve it. Yeah, so that's where I'm at now. It's been great, from working with the University of Notre Dame and having the absolute pleasure of doing what turned into what was Shakespeare at Fremont Park and turned into Shakespeare Around the Bend, because we took it to several parks. And that was just working with kids in this community and from kind of, all over. I had some kids from Elkhart and a few that came down from Michigan, and they were all here in this community, working with adults who were in the industry, working with adults who were new to it, working with Miss Sheila, with my mama. She was in it. It was amazing. My niece Cora was in it. So you've got 3 generations of LaSures, all just giving it life, giving life to the stage.
Now,
and it's my joy.
Well, I think anyone who knows you are an avid Shakespeare fan. And I've seen you in all kinds of diverse theater. So what gives you the most joy, musicals or the Bard?
Oh man, so the thing about Billy Shakes is that he was not only my introduction to theater, but to literature. So I started reading Shakespeare when I was 9. I found a copy of my grandmother's complete works of Shakespeare in the basement of the house we used to live in, and just something about it was so special. And I opened it up and just started with A Comedy of Errors, and at 9 years old was like reading the words that I could, flipping back to this like kind of like dictionary that was explaining the words to me, and that was the beginning of my reading and my love for theater and literature. So there is a great and deep love in my heart for Shakespeare. I love drama. I really do. I love the stage. And I love musicals, but I gotta say, like, there's something about the stage that is just, it's so special to me. Throwing down those dramas, directing is also kind of magnificent. Like being able to build that world, and giving, like I said, giving the stage to other people to tell these stories. Being able to work at IUSB when I directed By the Way, Vera Stark. Those are some of the most ridiculously talented human beings I have ever encountered in my life. The future of the theater is in good hands, and being able to work with these beautiful women of color, Kendra and Samantha Turner, Deandra, like working with all of that. It's like working with them and putting together this story that is not only incredibly strong women, but incredibly strong women of color is just beyond me. And that's my joy, honestly. Like just the whole building of a world. It truly is my bliss.
Well, I know that I know because I spoke with some of those students one-on-one, and they really enjoyed working with you. You are impacting so many lives with the work that you're doing through being on stage and being in the theater classroom, so to speak.
Yeah.
You're really doing some awesome work. Thank you so much for working with us this week. It's really been a hoot. Like, for real. Yeah. I feel like, I don't know. I grow so much whenever I'm around you. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Like you two, I have said it, it bears repeating. You are so important to this community. And I am so grateful for you as artists. I am so happy that I had the pleasure to work with you. That Seaside Cabaret was entirely too much fun. It was hot. So hot. It was hot.
So much.
It was hot. Like, it was hot dog for my bun.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. But it was a great experience. I'm so proud to know you. I'm so proud to work with you, and look forward to continuing working with you and seeing the beautiful things that you're doing in this community as well.
Thank you. Yes, we will continue to build a beautiful city together.
Yes.
It was great talking with you. Thank you, Larissa.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone, that was our Artist of the Week, Larissa LaShore. She has 2 videos out right now, Beautiful City from Godspell and Make Them Hear You from the musical Ragtime. They're out because we are raising money this week as part of our Show Tune Sunday program for Black Lives Matter South Bend. 100% of those proceeds raised this week are going to Black Lives Matter South Bend. Art4 is matching the first $250. We've already reached that goal, so that means we have $500 that's going towards Black Lives Matter South Bend, but let's make it to 1,000, okay? Donate today, donate tomorrow. You have until Sunday afternoon, this coming Sunday, and Art4 is going to be covering 100% of the transaction fees. So feel free to give more, okay? Please do so. Please do so. You're needed. We want to tell you a little bit about some upcoming events that we have going on right now. We have you do that every week, Aaron. We have the Wake Up Wednesday, which our second episode happens today.
That didn't help.
No, that didn't help at all. There we go. Wake Up Wednesday, our second episode happened today. We had special guest Aaron Dietz come on and join us. It's something that we're doing every Wednesday throughout this summer, so please join us for some revitalization throughout the middle of your week. We also have our new blog, Bending the Gap, to keep you connected on some updates and some cool stuff that's happening around our area as we adventure through this COVID-19 process. Our PSA competition ended this past Friday, June 5th, but check out to see who the winners are at our Cyber Sizzle, which is happening this Sunday, June 14th from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 5 to 7 p.m. Central. It's a free event. Don't forget to get your digital party pack by visiting art4sb.org/cyber sizzle. And you can also order food from Render Kitchen and Kitchen and Bar. Yeah, Render Kitchen and Bar. Yes. I was like, is it a tavern? It's a bar. And from Fat Cap. But make sure that you fill out those orders and that you place your order before this Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's it.
Yeah, you did it.
All right.
That was fantastic.
From all of us here at Art4, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you for your continued support. And don't forget that you have until Sunday at noon to donate to Black Lives Matter South Bend. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.